about the letters of the Arabic alphabet, the most important point being that they're all consonants and there is no vowel within the letters. And these are supplied by markings, which are called diacritic marking, that go above and below the letters. These are the ones you should be familiar with, inshallah, from your Quran reading lessons, or the fact that you read Quran on a regular basis. You should be able to recognize most of these symbols, as they will be used throughout the course. So it's important for us to have an overview of them. In the second part, inshallah, we're going to particularly start looking at how these are used, of course, to write words. In Arabic, there are only 3 types of words, and they form 2 types of sentences. And there are 5 types of phrases which we need to become very familiar with. And this is the mapping of Arabic, which I've developed for your benefit, so you can have a graphical representation of what you need to learn, what you need to study, for you to gain at least the most basic and most fundamental understanding of Quranic Arabic, in particular grammar and morphology, which we will be studying in this course, inshallah. So let's take a look at the components of this map. Meaningful word, Kalimah. Love means utterance. This is the term used by the scholars of Arabic grammar when they say that anything a human being utters from his mouth or her mouth can be called a love, an utterance. And this is represented by, in writing, with letters, and of course for us also additional markings that helps us represent whatever comes out of the mouth of a human being. Now, the utterance of a human being can be meaningful as well as meaningless. Meaningful or meaningless. What do I mean by meaningless? If for somebody who speaks only Arabic, there are certain words, if you say to them, which may mean something else in another language, but as far as Arabic is concerned, it will be meaningless. For example, pen. Pen is not a word in the Arabic language. It has its own equivalent word, but as far as the word sound pen is concerned, it will be meaningless in Arabic. And there are many words like that, of course. So meaningful and meaningless. Alhamdulillah, as far as you and I are concerned, we do not have to worry at all about meaningless, because there is no such thing as a meaningless word in the Quran or in the Hadith. So our focus is on meaningful. The scholars of Arabic describe the meaningful or divide it into 2 parts. One they call single word, meaning when a person utters a single meaningful word, it's called a kalimah, or when they utter a collection of words which become a sentence or a phrase. So one is called kalimah, which is a single word, and the other is murakkab, which literally means construct, making up from bits. So these are the 2 parts of the meaningful that we need to study. And inshallah ta'ala, Arabic grammar starts really from here, to understand how meaningful words are combined together to form meaningful constructs. If we analyze the parts of speech in English, we find in English all the words in the English language, if we were to collect them together, we could categorize them in the following subcategories. For example, nouns, pronouns, adjectives, adverbs, interjections, verbs, prepositions, and conjunctions. Possibly there are other ways of classifying, but this is the most common way that English words are subdivided. Every single English word in the language can be put into one of these columns. If you were to list them in a column, one of these categories. Now in English, we have around, according to some scholars, 600,000 words. So each and every word should be able to fit into most of these categories. The good news with Arabic, there are only 3 types of words in the Arabic language. Every word in the Arabic language will either be an ismun, fi'lun, or harfun. Ismun, fi'lun, or harfun. Now, the word ism normally in grammar books is translated as noun. I'm not going to translate as noun. I'm going to use noun plus. The reason why I do that, right from the beginning, I want you to be clear that an ism in Arabic includes nouns, pronouns, adjectives, adverbs, interjections, and other things besides. So noun plus is more fitting for the translation of ism. Ism is very comprehensive in the Arabic language. So we have one type of words called ismun. The second type is verbs, fi'lun, exactly the same as in English as far as the categorization is concerned. And then we have harf, which I'm going to translate as particle, a short word. Preposition, conjunctions, articles, etc. are called harf or huruf. So these are the only 3 types of words in Arabic. The good news is Arabic is a very structured language. So there are rules related to ism, there are rules related to fa'il, and there are rules related to harf. All you need to remember now, there are only 3 types of words. And inshallah, we'll take a very brief overview of what they are. Throughout the course, inshallah, they'll be not only introduced, but we will discuss them detail and also the rules related to how they're used in the particular sentence or in the phrase structures that we will study. Harfun, articles. The definition of a harf is that it is a very short word, usually made up of one or two letters. There are some exceptions, but mainly one or two letters. And their real meaning can only be understood when they're used in context with another word, with an ism or a fi'l. On their own, they do not really give a clear meaning. For example, if I were to say to you in English, in, you have an understanding what in means, but it will not really be clear what I mean by in unless I put something else with it. For example, I'm in a hurry, I'm in the house, I'm in work, I'm in trouble, or etc., etc. So when other things are added, the real meaning comes out. So this is what particles are, or huruf, harf singular, huruf plural. They are short words, but they are very powerful in the language. They actually bend the shape of sentences, and of course, they have a very, very powerful influence on the final meaning of a sentence. So inshallah, we'll study them. Here are some examples for you to note for now. So be, translated normally in or with, al, the, min, from, ala, on, fi, in, inna, indeed, aw, or, wa, and, fa, so, or thus. So these are the huruf. There are many others. Inshallah ta'ala, we are going to categorize them and study them in categories in this session. For now, just note, they're called harfun, singular, huruf for plural, and they are short words whose meaning can only be understood when it is used in context with other words. Fi'lun, verbs. Fi'lun singular, af'alun plural. Verbs, very similar to what we have in the English language in the sense that a verb is a word that tells us about work or action taking place, but please not always in reference to a tense. If there is no tense, there is no verb. So a fi'l must have a verb, a tense. A fi'lun, a verb, must have a tense, no verb. Let us look at some examples which you should easily recognize from your daily Quran reading or your salah. A'udhu, I take refuge. Na'budu, we worship. Nasta'inu, we ask for help. An'amta, you have bestowed favors. Ihdina, guide us. So from here you can see that all of these words have a tense and they talk about some action, some doing word. So this is literally a verb, and the same thing as in English, they are not a verb unless there is a tense. I'll give you an example with English. For example, if I say, I love eating mangoes, or I like to eat mangoes. In both of these cases, the word eat and eating are not verbs because there's no tense here. I like eating or I like to eat. In both cases, eating and eat are not verbs. They are part of the sentence. They are another category in English. As when I say, for example, I was eating a mango, now it becomes a verb. I am eating becomes a verb. I will eat, now it becomes a verb because there's a tense. In Arabic, it's a little bit easier than that. You don't have to have additional words. From the shape of the word, you can tell whether it is a verb or a noun. But the most important thing for you to note, a verb, fi'lun, can only be a verb if it has a tense. Ismun, noun plus. Ismun is the most important of the three because it's most widely used and it's most varied. Ismun means noun plus, we're going to translate. Singular, ismun, asma'un, plural. Please note, ismun is also literal meaning of it in English, in Arabic is name. Name. Okay, name of someone or name, just the word name. So it's a meaningful word, but most importantly, it does not have a tense. It does not have a tense. So it concludes nouns, pronouns, adjectives, adverbs, interjections. So in English, name of a person, place, or a thing are all nouns. So for example, it can be name of a person, animal, place, thing, an action, an idea, an emotion, feelings, etc. So the meaning of action is also a noun, even though in itself it describes an action. For example, eating, it's a noun in Arabic because it's just the meaning of the action, name of an action. It is not actually, does not have a tense. So all of these are ism. So it's a very, very big category. Now for you and I, simply, all we need to note is that an ism is every single word in Arabic that is not a fa'lun or a harfun. It's a very logical approach. If I say to you, there are only 3 rooms in a house or 3 rooms in an office, if you don't find me in the first 2, I've got to be in the third one. So again, this is the same way that an ism is a very wide category of words, and as long as it does not fit into the definition of a harf or the definition of a fa'lun, then it is an ismun, and therefore it is the third category. So this is very, very important definitions, inshallah. One of the key skills that you need to develop is to look at the whole Quran, any ayah, any line, any page. As soon as you open it, you should be able to tell me which of the words that are in that ayah, which one is an ism, which one is a fi'l, which one is a harf. And if you know that, alhamdulillah, you made a huge leap in your Arabic understanding. So this is a big achievement for us. And inshallah, you'll be able to do that very soon. But just as a hint for you, a tip for you, there are 3 signs. There are 3 signs that are exclusive to an ism. You will not see them anywhere else. So the first sign is tanween. Tanween, remember, only appears at the end of words, and I mentioned to you is going to play a very important role in your study. So anytime you see a word anywhere in Arabic that ends with a tanween, you can be certain that that word is an ismun. So again, you don't have to worry or ask any further question. Anything that has tanween at the end will be an ismun. The second sign, which we will look at in lesson number 3 when we look at gender, this is called ta marbuta. Now this ta is written like so, when if it joins a letter before it, or on its own it will be written like so. It has these 2 dots which distinguishes it from the ha. So this is called ta marbuta. If you see that on any word in Arabic, that is also your ism, meaning a fi'l and a harf cannot have these 2 signs. The third sign, which is very common, almost 8,800 times in the Quran, is the word for the in Arabic, T-H-E, the. And it is al, and it only appears at the beginning of a word. So if you see al at the beginning of a word, you can also be 100% certain that word is an ismun. So these are 3 tips. Please do write them down in your notebook, inshallah. Even though you may have my original book and you may have the videos, please do make notes as you're watching these videos. Otherwise, it will just be me talking, and you will not be able to gain the knowledge that we all need to acquire. So please do keep a notebook with you, and inshallah throughout the video, anything that is new, anything that you haven't understood, do write it down. Pause the video if you have to, inshallah, if you think I'm going too fast. But please do that as a practice. So these 3 points you need to note, inshallah, in your notebook, nice and big, beautifully written. Inshallah, these 3 points, that anytime you see these 3 words, 3 signs, tanween at the end of a word, ta marbuta at the end of a word, or al at the beginning of a word, you can be 100% sure that word is an ismun. So the category of ism is very varied. Includes nouns, what we call nouns in English. It includes pronouns. It includes adjectives. It includes adverbs and much, much more. The 3 signs I mentioned, you will see, for example, in the words here, we got one of the signs there. We got al here, and we got tanween there, etc. And of course, this has got even 2 signs of being masculine, as being a noun, ismun. And then you got al here, which is also a sign of an ism, it being an ism. The point I'm trying to get you to understand is that not every ism will have these 3 signs. There are other signs of ism which you will learn, inshallah, as we go through the course. But these 3 are very, very common. Of course, the last list are adverbs, and they do not have a tanween, nor do they take al in any of these examples here. So you have, for example, qabla, ba'da, bayna, inda. These are all adverbs, and there's a particular shape of adverbs we'll learn later on, inshallah. So point to note, 3 signs exclusive to ism, but not every ism. To illustrate the importance of this, please take a look at the text on the screen. I've taken this from Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah number 126. I'm sure you may be familiar with this already. Now let me highlight for you all the verbs in red. So these are the verbs in these 6 ayat that I've identified for you as an example only. So just don't worry about the details of knowing them at the moment. Just take a look at how you will look at Quranic texts in the future, inshallah, as you go through studying this structured format. So the verbs are now highlighted in red. I can also highlight for you in blue all the huruf, harf, the particles. verbs are فعل, حروف in blue. And then all the other ones in black are all ismun category. So every single word in the Quran has to be in one of these three, of course, as well as in the Arabic language, one of these three parts of speech. As soon as you reach that milestone where you can recognize 70, 80, 90% of the words and tell me whether there is an ismun, fi'lun, harfun, you can be convinced, alhamdulillah, you made a huge leap in your Arabic study. By the time we go through the lesson by lesson, inshallah, you'll learn the categories of words, and we're going to start off with the most common types of words first, which will enable you, inshallah, to make this step a lot quicker than you would have done if you went through a long study program. So inshallah ta'ala, just be patient, but this is a goal for you. So I wanted to share this with you right from the beginning, that at least you can see, alhamdulillah, when you open a page of Quran, you're able to identify certain categories of words, and you'll be able to do that very, very soon, inshallah. I'm confident by the time you get to lesson number 10, you'll be able to recognize, I would say, around 2 or 3 grammatical structures in every line of Quran, at least. And inshallah, by the end of the book, you'll recognize almost every second word of Quran, in every line, more than 50% of the words. Inshallah, if you follow the program, you'll be able to go. But this is a target for you, inshallah. So please make a note of this. So in conclusion, every single word in Arabic will be either ismun, fi'lun, or harfun. And this is a summarized note. Please don't worry about writing it all down while watching the video. Just make the main points. But inshallah ta'ala, in the book itself, I have given you all of these diagrams and charts that you need. Also you can see here a number at the end in the corner of the page, which refers to the number in the book itself. So there is a correspondence there. But for now, please do take a note of this, inshallah, that there are only 3 types of words. Some examples. These are summarized sheets, and there's lots of like this for you, summarized diagrams, just to save you writing pages and pages of notes, as well as, of course, to give you a quick reference to be able to tell the most key important points that you need to know about the subject. So I'll show you the full screen. Please do take a picture of it if you haven't got access to the book itself, so you can make a note from here. Construct. Murakkab. When we normally combine 2 or more words to give additional meaning, that is in grammar called murakkab, or meaningful construct. Meaningful construct. So in ismun, fi'lun, harfun, they're combined, 2 or more of them, in certain rules to produce murakkab, a meaningful construct. So what we mean by meaningful construct is not words thrown in random. You cannot do that in any language. Take a look at what I've got on the screen. Car, beautiful, the new. Now, I don't think it makes any sense to any of you. Of course, you know what car means. You know what beautiful means. The means. New means. But you have no idea what I'm talking about. Car, beautiful, the new. If I said on the other side, tree, fruit, A is this. Now again, you'd laugh because even though all of these words are meaningful to you, you know what a tree means, you know what a fruit means, you know what A is this. It doesn't make any sense. Or the last example, wise was man the. Makes no sense. On the other hand, if I were to say the beautiful new car, now this makes sense to you. As an English speaker, you know. So I haven't thrown words in random in English to produce something. I needed to follow the rules of the English language. The same thing with the second example. This is a fruit tree. Now you have a clear idea what I'm talking about. And then we look at the man was wise. Complete sentence. So this is called meaningful. And again, it's the same thing in Arabic. You can't throw words in random and hope to have something which is meaningful to the person on the other side. So learning words on their own is not going to help you, and learning endless list of vocabulary is not going to help you. You're going to have to know how to use those words. So this is what we mean when we say meaningful construct, something that makes a meaning or something gives a clear meaning to the person who's listening to what you are saying. So we take words in English, student, most clever, on, 8, etc. And these are single words. So they will be called Kalimah in grammar, in Arabic grammar. And then we can make constructs using those words or other words. For example, a clever student. Now you have an idea what I'm talking about. These are not random words. On the table, this mosque. Now all of these are called incomplete. Why? Because when I say this mosque, you're still waiting for something else. You don't really know what I mean by this mosque. And what am I going to say about this mosque? This mosque is new. this mosque is beautiful, this mosque is ancient, whatever, something else additional is required. All of these are called incomplete. And then we have complete meaning in the sense that when I say the new mosque is open, clear, it's a sentence. The book is on the table. Now you know what's on the table. I ate Hamid's cake. Who ate his cake? I ate Hamid's cake. So here you have clear meaning. And this is exactly the same in Arabic. When you say two or more words which have a partial meaning, it's called incomplete. When you say two or more words which has full meaning, it is called complete. So you have naqisun, incomplete, and we have tamun, which means complete. And that's all it is. As simple as that. So words can come together to give us incomplete meaning or complete meaning. And these are the grammatical structures. Inshallah, at this stage, do not worry about Arabic terminology. We will learn them through usage. Just have the clear map in your head that this is what we're trying to achieve. Complete construct. So our map now develops. We have Kalimah, a single meaningful word, can be either an ismun, fa'ilun, harfun. They come together to give us meaningful construct. For simplicity, I'm going to refer to tamun as sentences. That's literally what they are, because they give us a complete meaning. Naqisun, I'm going to give you the word phrase, meaning it's short of a sentence. Clear meaning, has value, tells us something, but it is short of forming a sentence. So we have naqis and we have tam. So please, again, just focus on the meaning, the English word at this stage. Do not worry about the Arabic words at this stage. So we have complete, which we're going to call sentences, naqis, which we will call phrases. According to the Oxford Dictionary, a sentence is a set of words that is complete, i.e. gives us a complete meaning. Typically in English contains a subject and a predicate. I've collected for you the most standard English sentence structures. So for example, I have Hamid came, this house is big, he ate the cake, Hamid walked away, Hamid is a teacher. In all of those sentences, the basic rule of the English language is that it has two parts, subject and a predicate. So for example, here we have Hamid came, subject is here, and here this house, that is your subject, Hamid is your subject here, he is your subject here, and Hamid again is your subject in the fifth example. The point here to note a couple of things where English sentences differ from Arabic. In Arabic, we can form sentences just with nouns, ism, noun plus. In English, we need a verb to form sentences in English. Please note that. So there is no sentence in English here without a verb. So the word is actually a verb in English. Is a verb. Is, or are. So just as a tip for you, whenever you see is, or are, anything before it will be the subject in English as a general tip. So you'll have two parts, subject and predicate. Predicate can have lots of different things. In some cases, just a verb. In some cases, a verb plus other things, etc. But that's the general structure of the English sentence. Where it differs from Arabic is that Arabic can have sentences without verbs. The second major difference is Arabic can have sentences that begins with a verb. In English, we normally do not begin sentences with a verb. Please take a look at the 5 structures here. None of them begins with a verb. How do you know? Because I've colored the verbs in red. So you can tell here that the English sentences do not normally begin with verbs, and the fact that in Arabic we can. And this is what we look at, the 2 different structures in the Arabic language.